Nigerians have seen an astronomical increase in the price of premium motor spirits or PMS at the pump since President Bola Tinubu confirmed that there were no longer any budgetary provisions for fuel subsidy beyond June 2023. Now, even before June ended, the price of fuel went up, and now the price has gone up again since Tuesday morning, with Nigerians now paying over 600 naira per litre of PMS, and in some parts of the country, closer to 700 naira. President Tinubu had promised that there would be palliatives put in place to cushion the effects of the removal of what has been a popular but costly subsidy regime. But no palliatives have been seen beyond the announcement of an 8,000 naira for 12 million poor Nigerian households for 6 months. And that is something that the administration has now said it will review. The Nigeria Labour Congress, which has not supported the cash transfer, says it rejects the new price and has warned the government from trying the patience of Nigerians. Joining me now is Comrade Emmanuel Ugwaja. He's the General Secretary of the Nigeria Labour Congress. Comrade, welcome to Politics HQ. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to go back in time a little bit because on June 19th, the federal government and the leadership of the NLC and the TUC agreed that all the issues and demands related to palliatives should be concluded within 8 weeks. This was when the two unions had announced that there would be some kind of protest after the announcement of the fuel subsidy regime. Now, this is exactly about a month after that and almost halfway to that deadline. So can you tell us, has there been any progress made concerning the NLC and the TUC's demands regarding the palliatives?
Absolutely no progress. We've been waiting. We sent the list of our delegates to the Secretariat. Until date, that sets of names have not been formally inaugurated, and no meeting has been held. So there's no progress. I cannot report any progress.
So just to clarify, just to make sure we're emphasizing this, so the Palliative Committee on Subsidy Removal, which was set up by the Tinubu administration, chaired by the governor of Kebbi State, there's been no progress. Labor, NLC, or TUC has not met with this particular committee to be able to move forward with the demands that the associations have had, correct?
No, not the committee. The committee to which we are party is jointly chaired by the Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Badabemila, and then the NLC President, Comrade Joe Ajero. That committee has not reconvened. That committee has not sat.
All right, so let's look at the demands that you have. So given that we're now seeing a new pump price of over 600 naira per litre, is Labour sticking to its previous demands, or do we expect to see some kind of adjustments or additions to accommodate the new price that Nigerians are now having to pay?
You know, it won't be fair on Nigerians for we to engage in this macabre dance the government wants to push us through. We did predict that this would be the direction, and people pretended to act like the ostrich, bury their heads in sand, and the rest of the body is out. The honest truth is there will be no end to price hike if we continue down this road. So are we going to be having meetings every day to review wage award, to review palliative, to review price? No. The road the government has embarked on is completely unfair and irresponsible, to say the least. And that is why what we are witnessing is a direction where people are looking for who to blame. People want a fight between Ipman and Nigerians, between Ipman and the so-called new NNPC, between Ipman and Labour, between Labour and the imaginary foes. That is not the way to engage in governance. We have a product that Nigeria is well endowed, and all we have preached all these years is refine the product in Nigeria, so that we don't go down this route of madness, to say the least. If you were refining petrol in Nigeria, you won't be talking about importation, you won't be talking about tax, you won't be talking about bridging, you won't be talking about warehousing, You won't be talking about tank farms. You won't be talking about foreign exchange. You won't be talking about the falling level of the naira. You will be talking about a product that is either refined in Kaduna and you buy from the Kaduna refinery, or refined in Warri and you buy from the Warri refinery, refined in Port Harcourt, Lokoja, wherever you locate modular refineries, wherever you locate your small house refineries, and the product will be here. They will have a political elite, will have an elite that is out to continue to enslave Nigerians, even in areas that nature has blessed us. So to continue this discourse of what will Labour do, are we going to demand more money because it's moved from 500 to 600? By next week, it will move to 700. By September, it will be at 1,000. Why the simple thing we need to do is to get refineries to work in Nigeria. Why are we not seeing this? Why do we want to follow this route of mystifying refining of crude oil as if it's a celestial body process?
I think that's a question we look forward to seeing the government answer. But of course, you mentioned that Labour is simply asking to get the refineries working as well. But Labour has also talked about the fact that it doesn't agree with the Tinubu administration's plan for palliatives, particularly the plan that involves $800 million from the World Bank as a loan to pay 12 million Nigerian households 8,000 naira monthly for 6 months. So now we've heard from the special advisor to the president on this, and this is now going to be under review. What do you expect from the review of this, especially given how long it has taken to see any palliative come out to help cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal for Nigerians?
Under review by who? Who put out the first figure that now needs a review? We have a committee that is waiting to formally meet, a committee that was supposed to discuss the issues that they are now already banding figures and numbers. There are banding figures of households who are still to agree on the modality for determining the enumeration of these households. We are still to determine what would be reasonable to the households if we do confirm them. And people have already told you they have 12 million households. Where did they get them from? People have told you they want to give 8,000. Who gave that? So you now say you want to review. Review by who? Is the president reviewing himself?
Hello, comrade, are you still with me?
Yes, I am with you.
Okay, fantastic. I just wanted to be sure. It seemed that there was a bit of a break in transmission. So let me still refer to that press release from Dele Alake. He also said that the president has approved the release of 50 million, the release of fertilizers, I beg your pardon, and grains to 50 million farmers and households in all the 36 states and the FCT. And that's also the administration would be unveiling its palliative program to Nigerians soon, that we should just hold on, let them do what they need to do, let them unveil so we can stop all these permutations and these also kind of conversations we're having online and of course on the social space as well. But we know this comes after the president also declared a state of emergency for food security. So first, I want your response to now the release of fertilizers and grains, and then also your response, your thoughts on what the palliative package should entail. As you've mentioned, the committee has not yet met, but Labour has an idea of what you expect to be palliatives for Nigerians, not just the poorest of the poor, but working class Nigerians, medium-sized, small and medium-sized entrepreneurs who are also feeling this economy as well. So also paint us a picture of what Labour expects to be a correct palliative package for Nigerians in this situation.
Now you've mentioned agriculture. I will very painfully draw your attention to an adage, a proverb from an African proverb, more particularly from the Southeast, where they say when you lie, when a farmer or a supposed farmer lies that he has cultivated 500 moles of yam, when in actual fact what he cultivated was only 50 moles. By the time he finishes the 50 moles, then he will eat the remaining 40 450 lives that he has cultivated. Where are you getting a figure of 50 million households that need fertilizer? Where are you getting 50 million households that need fertilizer from Abuja across the country? Where are you releasing the fertilizer to? Farming in the southeast, my village where I know, farming is seasonal, and majorly the farming season is practically over. From July, they start harvesting, and you are saying you are releasing 50 million households, fertilizer to 50 million households. I pray we have not entered what ordinary Nigerians will call a one-chance situation.
So that leads
because when you keep dropping this, where 50 million households, by their own calculation, they will tell you, my sister, when they talk about household, the simple definition most of the time will be a man, his spouse, and then 2 children. And if you then have 50 million households, by that simple definition, you multiply 50 million by 4. It gives you 200 million. So it then means that my own family already is entitled to fertilizer. You should have found out whether I'm farming. It means the taxi driver already is entitled to fertilizer for the 50 million households. We shouldn't be going down this route. Nigeria deserves better than this type of voodoo governance. No, we deserve better than this.
You mentioned one chance, and that's a term that Nigerians use for particular types of situations. So I want to ask, has labor, or rather is labor feeling like they're losing faith, they're losing hope in this administration to do what needs to be done when it comes to this fuel subsidy removal and the issue of palliatives? Do you still believe the administration of President Bola Tinubu can turn this around to make it right?
The president went on his inauguration day and said subsidy is gone. Nobody was consulted. We had no conversation. We attempted to react. They went to court and got an injunction. And we said, okay, let's dialogue. Let's see how we can all put our hands on the plow to solve this terrible situation. Rather than come, let's do it, they turn around and tell you, we're applying to get 500 billion from the National Assembly. We're applying to give 8,000. We're applying to give 12 million households. How can you have faith in this brand of process? How do you have faith? Suddenly, they are distributing fertilizers to 50 million households. And you expect me to have faith? Have faith in what?
Let's look at the statement that was released by the NLC yesterday and signed by its president. So the last line, and I'll quote it, says, if government does not want to stop these fortuitous actions that it is pursuing in the name of palliatives, we will be forced to constructively review our engagement with the government on this vexatious issue and take matters into our own hands. So in regards to this, comrade, what is the NLC willing and ready to do if it appears that there's no way forward with government on this issue? Taking matters into your own hands, what does that mean for you?
It means we'll convoke the meeting of our organs. It means our organs will determine whether our members, the members of the various affiliates that make up the NLC, whether the workers are able to go to work with this new situation. We'll determine whether our members are able to feed with this new situation. We'll determine whether our members have benefited from the 50 million household fertilizer. We'll determine whether our members have been enumerated, the poor of the poorest, those that have not even gotten the minimum wage of 30,000. We'll determine whether they are part of the 12 million households that you want to give 8,000 to, and verify whether that will last them a day. And if we come to the conclusion that the government has made it impossible for work to happen, then we'll do what is needful in that circumstance. But if we come to the conclusion that we have enough money to buy fuel at 617 naira a litre, we'll have enough money to meet the increasing high cost of living. If we come to the conclusion in our meeting that we are able to survive under this, then we'll live with it. So it's subject to the organs of the NLC to determine, based on the feedback we are going to get from our members, who are Nigerians, who are the ordinary Nigerians you are talking to in the streets, who are lamenting, unable to get to work, who are lamenting, unable to pay the new prices, who are lamenting that their wives cannot sell, the petty traders cannot sell to anybody because there is no more money to purchase anything. So when we come to the conclusion that we are about to be annihilated, then we will decide what way to keep afloat in this present Nigeria.
I think at this point it's important for us to hear from you as a representative of labor, a reiteration of what the demands labor has in regards to this. If labor is not supporting the palliative measure, at least the first part of it that was announced by the administration, what does labor support? What are the demands labor is putting forward in terms of palliatives for this situation? Can you enumerate those for us?
Like I told you earlier in this discussion, we don't want to dance naked in the marketplace, the direction the government obviously wants to push Nigerians to. It's not about palliative. We can't be doing palliative all our lives. It's about concrete steps to put our economy on the right path. They should be talking to us about refining in Nigeria. They should be talking to us about the alternative to PMS, the natural gas content, the conversions, the steps being taken to do conversions. Palliative is like paracetamol to malaria. You need to have the genuine drug before you begin to talk about alleviating fever or feverishness. So if we are not addressing the core issues, then that can't be the definition of governance. That can't be the way to go.
In terms of the Tinubu administration and the handling of this whole situation, is labor concerned about the future of how this present administration will govern the country? Looking at a few of the moves, because when I looked at that statement signed by your president, there are a few interesting things. There is a point of this administration going down the dictatorial path as well. So is labor now concerned as to the type and style of governance we might be seeing under the Tinubu administration?
Yeah. The fact is you invite people to a meeting and you have an understanding, you have an agreement, and without doing any meeting, you're pushing out figures. Without doing any meeting, the price of PMS moves from 500 and something to 600 and something. But we had an 8-week work period. The 8-week work period, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. So how do you define that?
And that is a question we hope to hear an answer from the administration. Comrade Emmanuel Ugbaja, General Secretary of the Nigeria Labour Congress, thank you so much for your time. Let me sneak in one more question right now. Do we know when Labour is meeting internally? You mentioned, of course, having a meeting of the organs of the Labour Party, the chapters as well, to make their decisions. Is there any information now as to when Labour might be meeting on the current situation of things as it stands?
Yeah, unlike the government, we believe in democracy. We are going to consult. We are not going to dictate to anybody. Hopefully, by early part of next week, we'll be meeting. And our hope is that the government would have retracted its steps, retraced its steps, and get back to genuine social dialogue mood so that we can all join hands to pull our country out of this self-inflicted harm.
All right, so we'll leave it at that for now. Comrade, thank you so much for joining me, and we look forward to talking to you or other representatives of the Nigeria Labour Congress as this conversation develops. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.